Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah Holly, and the setup might look a little bit different today. We are joined by a special guest. This is Catherine Watson, also known as
Cat Wells.
Cat Wells from the Cat Wells Music. And today we are getting an opportunity to sit down with Cat and hear about her music, hear about her process, because yesterday Cat released her first ever single for her new album, which is also her first ever album. So it is a very, very, very exciting week. So in our chat today, we are going to hear more about Cat, how she knew that she wanted to get into the music industry, what the making of the album was like. And then at the end of this, we will play some of her single as a little teaser for you to go and actually find and listen to her music on pretty much everywhere that music is played.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Good stuff.
let's get started. So Kat, introduce yourself to our friends.
Well, I am Cat Watson, also known as Cat Wells. And first and foremost, I'm an artist. I grew up in a wildly artistic home. My dad and my mom are classically trained musicians. They do that full time. And I grew up listening to Tchaikovsky, and I also grew up listening to reggae. So I have creativity kind of just ingrained in me. And I also went to a design school for college, and I do graphic design full time. So I'm a designer by day and a musician by night, and
An artist all around.
an artist all around. Artist all around.
So I get the privilege of having Kat on my channel today because Kat and I are actually really good friends.
Yes.
Not only is she an amazing artist, she's also a friend of mine. We've known each other for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the same Bible study. We're in kind of the same friend group, like just all around, get to spend a lot of time together, which is a privilege. We just had a party last night. It was a blast. And here we are, morning after. We're recording our podcast. So I'm really, really grateful to be friends with Kat. She's an amazing person as well as artist. She's going to be singing in my wedding coming up in a couple weeks, which actually, when you hear this, is the next day.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Because this podcast is going out on June 3rd.
Oh my gosh. The timing. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So anyway, all that to say, I will get to hear Catherine's beautiful voice, both probably tonight for you guys and then tomorrow at my actual wedding. So that's very exciting.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, okay, enough about that. So Kat,
Yes.
where does Cat Wells come from? Obviously, your name is Cat Watson. I know we
Mm-hmm.
played around with a few names when you were first trying to decide. So talk us through the process of trying to come up with an artistic name for your music.
Yes. Originally, I had maybe 2 or 3 different names, and I changed the Instagram. Everything was going to be this particular name. People loved it or they hated it. And I thought, okay, I need something that resonates kind of all around, resonates with me, but also resonates with others. Most people just wanted it to be my name. They're
Yeah.
like, we just know you. We want your artist name to be Cat. So my name means pure. And my mom actually thought it was really important that we keep my actual name in my artist's name because
Your
as-
actual first name.
right, because it has such a cool meaning. It's who I am. And Wells is, well, there's many things behind Wells, but Wells is what I want to name my son one day. And I love the meaning that it has also in the Bible. Wells are a source of community. They're a source of life for that community, but they're also oftentimes an encounter with God. There's lots of encounters with God around a well. And so you have a pure aspect of my name, and then you also have a source of life and an encounter with God. And I would say that is what I want my music to be, very authentic, very pure, but also provide others to have an experience with God they might not have had otherwise. Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful. I love that. So Kat, you mentioned you grew up in an artistic family.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about that. Like, what was baby Kat growing up like? And at what point did you decide, I want to do this myself? Like, I want to be an artist too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So watching my mom kind of record. She is a recording artist and she's really well known in Ireland and England, actually. And I would always accompany her on her trips. I would be selling her merch. I'd be playing with her and singing with her in England. And I'd also go with her to her recording sessions in Nashville. And so,
How old are you when all that started?
maybe 10
Okay.
or so. But I knew nothing else. And I would watch my parents in the symphony play together and go up on stage and say hi to them after. And that was just life. And I felt so supported to do anything creative at all times because my parents took the hard way. They took the music route. And typically you don't succeed. You don't make a ton of money unless you work really hard. And I saw them put in that effort. And so I thought, oh, there's no limits. I don't have any limits.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
And they're both so supportive
Yeah.
to this day. So because of their support, because of what I saw in them, I thought, oh, I love doing this. I love to sing. Been singing since I was like 5, just for fun. And I had a really cool opportunity, which I can tell you about, that kind of opened the door to me becoming a musician on my own.
What's your mom's name in case anybody is interested in finding her?
Yes, it's Jean Watson. Jean Watson Music.
Yes.
Can
And
find
Kat
her.
is on many of her songs. You have a very special song together.
Yes, Psalm 51. Psalm 51 by Jean Watson. Most of that song is actually just me. And we wrote it together. And I'm on a few other tracks of hers, but that is our collaboration last
Your
year.
first tiptoes into the world of recording yourself.
100%. Yep.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about, you are currently full-time employed and you, along the way, knew that this was a dream of yours. What was the trigger? When did you say, okay, it's time to step out, it's time to take the leap? Like what was the trigger for all of that?
Yeah. So I went to Nashville, like I always do, with mom. Accompanied her. We recorded Psalm 51, and Billy, her producer, told me, he's like, "What do you do for a living?" I was like, "Oh, I do graphic design and blah 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 blah," telling him about my day job. And he's like, "Why aren't you making music?" And I gave a million excuses. I was like, "Well, this is like a steady job and blah 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 blah," and feeling super insecure. And he was like, "I'll tell you what, I will produce an album for you and you just have to write the music. Just come here with written songs and I'll produce all of it for a crazy deal." He just offered me this insane deal. And I sat in the car with my mom after and I was like, I think I want to do that. I think this is it. And my heart just, like, I felt like it was the most joy I had had in so long. And that's how I knew, I think it was God, because I wanted to be sparked again with that joy. And this was the next open door for that. And so I said yes. And here we are, 10 songs plus later, and gonna release an album at the end of the year. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. And as someone that has been able to watch Kat pre this journey as well as through this journey, I can absolutely say that there was a yearning in Kat's heart before this all happened for that. I believe the Lord placed on her heart for like something is coming, like something's next. I'm unsettled where I am now. And then after that trip, there was a sense of like, what in the world have I gotten myself into?
Oh my gosh.
Maybe, but certainly a sense of settling and just like a peace in your heart of this is what I need to do next, as scary as it is.
Yeah.
And
Deep
that was really
purpose.
cool. Yeah, that was really cool
Yeah.
to see in you. That was special.
Mm-hmm.
So you've never written your own album, but had you ever written songs before, like in your own time? Did 15-year-old Kat write songs in her bedroom?
No.
Really? That's shocking to me, actually.
No, I wrote little dubs with my sister on
Okay.
YouTube, which I hope the world never
Oh my
finds.
gosh, we will find them.
But I never wrote. I didn't think I was a writer. I didn't think I could. So I didn't really
So
touch
this
a
was
notebook.
entirely new for you when you started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you start something like that?
Discipline.
Okay. Fair.
And my roommates will attest to this. I locked myself in my room every day for 1 to 3 hours. At the end of every day, you would find me closing the door and putting headphones on and
Major discipline.
just journaling and seeing what comes out of my journals. A lot of my songs are just from my personal experiences, my pain, what God is teaching me, what he's healing me of. That is 100% every song. So they all come from a journal entry of some
love it.
kind. And then just willingness to show up the next day and start from where I left off.
Did you have any coaching, or how did you Google like how to write music? Like how did you
Yes.
train yourself? Because there's certainly a science to it.
Yeah. I mean, I knew poetry. I took a lot of writing classes in college, so I knew the basis of what makes a decent poem. And I am so inspired by a lot of artists. And I know that I'm inspired by a lot of artists. I know the way they write and really pick up on a lot of that poetry from artists I love, like George Harrison or Simon and Garfunkel or Willie Nelson or Sam Fender. Like, I pick up on the stories that they're writing and how they're saying them. And I wanted to write in a similar way. But it was also just the most natural to write in a way that almost felt like poetry. I've tried to write fluffy. I've tried to write about a Friday night and going out with friends.
A little bit of pop in there.
Yeah, and I can't do it. I can't. And so every time I feel like God's like, "No, that's not how you write." Write how you actually write, which is a lot of
Be
metaphors.
true to yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Very poetic. That is definitely my style. But I think I just naturally picked it up from what I had loved listening to in the past. So
Okay, you alluded to this a little bit earlier, but you said 10 plus ish songs. So how many songs did you actually write in this process?
yes.
Uh-oh.
A lot.
Even like snippets. I'm sure
Right.
that there's like a bridge here and there that you just never put anywhere.
Yes. I have many journals and many voice memos, a world of voice memos that have bridges that I might make one day, or melodies that I think are great and that I need to use. It's just a matter of when. So I would say I have many demos, many demos ready. But songs, I have written 10 so far, full songs, produced songs. And then we'll have more that we're working on in the future too that I need to write. So,
And how many songs are on this album?
there's 10.
Okay, 10 full songs. Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were working with Billy,
Mm-hmm.
how many times did you go to Nashville to work together?
Oh gosh. Everything happened so fast. I would say within the first 2 times that I went there, we had recorded 90% of everything. And we'd spend like 8-hour days together for a weekend. And since I work full time, he's like, "Well, what can you do?" And I'm like, "Weekends." So suddenly my roommates are seeing less and less of me, and I'm just going to Nashville for the weekends, like anytime I can. And I would say, what's the total number? It hasn't been that much. Maybe 6, 7
I mean, that's more than
times.
the average trip to Nashville for people. Like 6 or 7 times is a lot of trips.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, but we get a lot done. We just like kind of lock ourselves in the cave and spend a full weekend pretty much without sunlight, and then we're done.
Is that enjoyable, or is that a stressful process because there's pressure to it from a
It's-
time perspective?
Yeah, I think it's pretty enjoyable. We kind of just take it one step at a time, and we pick up where we left off the last time. But things move very fast when you're working with incredible musicians. My mom, I'm trying to get her to play her violin on a track as well, and all the harmonies, all the vocals are all me, and guitar is mostly me as well, except for Electric, which is Brennan Smiley, Billy's son, who
Amazing.
has been a part of so many bands, The Brilliants, and has his own band. But yeah, a lot of excellence.
A big collection of really talented people.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I just consider myself a little sheep, and I am with these masters in the craft. I
Lots to
leave
learn.
every time and I'm like, wow, I don't know
That's
how.
amazing.
I don't know how I'm around these people, but I am. So
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if you had to summarize the album, how would you summarize kind of the essence of the story you're trying to tell?
the essence of the story I'm trying to tell, there's a song I wrote, and it is about Ezekiel 16. And in that, God says to Jerusalem, you were nothing. No one wanted you. You were helpless. But I came and I saved you. And it was only through me that you're living. And I'm not only going to call you to live again, but I'm going to adorn you in a way that you don't even deserve, and make you royalty. And I think that is my life. That is my life story, is God giving me something and crowning me when no one else wanted me, or when I didn't deserve it. He still came and he called me to live again. So I think the whole album could be summarized in God loving us without price, without expectation, unconditionally. Does not matter what state you're in. He will never stop chasing you. That is the whole album, because a lot of my life has been striving to earn affection that I already had from the start. So it's kind of unwinding the beliefs that I used to have and believing the truth that is fully loved at all times without cost.
That's amazing. What's the name of the Ezekiel song?
Live.
Live.
It is the first song I ever wrote,
Oh.
and I think maybe my favorite song I'll ever write.
Oh my gosh, that's a big
Probably.
statement.
Yeah.
So early in your career. That's amazing.
It just, I'm like,
That's very
this
special.
is God. I started bawling when I put a guitar to lyrics for the first time, and I was like, there's something to this. And I think it's because it's my life story.
Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It's your testimony in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So you write an album, and then you have to pick a single. You have to pick one of your children to release first. What is your single called, and how did you pick that to be your first release?
The first single I chose to feature first is Remain. And man, there were so many good ones. You never want to start with a crazy banger to release first. You kind of want to like ease people in. And you also want it to be a song that says a lot about you as an artist. Like, who are you at your core? What's an original song of yours? This is definitely who I am at my core.
So what makes Remain that kind of trailer for you, for Kat Wells?
Oh, it's kind of like the whole striving message for me. And also feeling like I'm crumbling, but God is the one who brings me back together. Who is that?
There is a man at my door. Do we ignore it?
Maybe we do.
1 minute. Okay, everyone. We are nearing the end. A few final questions. Kat, what do you want us to take away from this album?
Ooh. I think feeling less shame than you did before. 'Cause that's what a lot of the songs are for me, is kind of breaking out of shame. And if someone feels lighter and they feel more empowered
That's beautiful.
and they feel not ashamed of who they are, but they really know that they're truly loved the second they woke up. Maybe one of my songs isn't that specific. But I think just feeling like they're actually loved and they don't have to try so hard.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's really beautiful. Okay. In our last few seconds here, Kat, let the people know where you're at. Where can they find you? What are some upcoming dates? Like, give us the scoop.
You can find me on Apple Music. You can find me on Spotify, anywhere you listen. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. The username is the same. It's Kat Wells Music, Kat with a K. And I will be releasing singles once a month, every Friday, the first Friday of every month. So June 2nd is single 1, Remain. And then every month for 5 or 6 months will be a new single.
So exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And then when does the album officially come out?
The album officially comes out November 3rd. Should be a Friday. Should be the first Friday of November.
I love it.
Yeah.
And we will likely be having a release party, and I will
Yes.
likely be filming it.
Yes.
So you guys will also get
If
to
I'm
see that,
lucky.
which is very excited.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Anything else?
No, give the music a listen. See what you think. And I just hope that it touches someone when they
That's
listen to it.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Really
thanks
appreciate
for having
it.
me.
Absolutely. Had a blast. First ever podcast experience.
Yes.
Went really well.
Yeah.
Had so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
You guys
of
will
course.
be seeing more of Kat, and we will link a lot of her different accounts and all of her songs in the description. So go check them out. Thanks,
Cool.
guys.
Thanks.
Have a great week. Bye.
When you're faithless, I'll be faithful. I'll stand and